another ongoing problem here. What is your stand on abortion?
I am definitely pro-choice. If a woman thinks that she is not capable of raising a child and giving birth, then give her the chance. I don't understand why people would not, want to give women the chance to, if they don't think that they can raise a child the best that, to their best potential, then it's not right. Children should be raised, with all in the right environment, with the right opportunities for everything. So I think that a woman should definitely have the choice to whether or not she wants to have an abortion.
My stance on this is actually kind of interesting. For the longest time, I was really, really pro-choice. I thought that women should be able to get an abortion at any point, basically. And then last semester in one of my classes, we did presentations on very controversial social issues today. And one of them that was presented was abortion. And they were talking about just the procedures and what happens and there were pictures even, and it was horrific to listen to and to watch to some extent. And I thought, well, how can I be so in favor of something that I can hardly stand to look at? I think that seems a little bit hypocritical of me. So, however, I still do think, I would agree with Kian here, that if a baby's not going to be properly brought up, then that risk shouldn't be taken. So I think that an early term abortion, either in the first or like halfway through the second trimester, that's when the abortion should take place if they decide to have an abortion. And then additionally, one more thing that I found interesting, oftentimes one of the big deals with abortion is rape. What happens if a woman gets raped and then she gets pregnant? And for the longest time, people have been saying, oh, we shouldn't, or they should be able to get an abortion because it wasn't their choice, or they shouldn't because that's still life. But then there's another procedure that can be done, which I think is the best compromise between the two. And basically, the premise is that right after the woman gets raped, within the next 24 hours, this is before conception has taken place, the sperm hasn't reached the egg yet. Basically, the idea is essentially you flush the uterus. You can go to a hospital and get the procedure done. There's no conception, so there's no loss of life. It's okay by religious standards. And at the same time, you still don't have to worry about that problem. So that's basically my stance on that issue.
Thank you for those details.
All right, I'm completely pro-choice. I've always been this way, and I keep my stance. I think it's definitely a woman's right to decide what's going on with her body. I feel if something happened, she wasn't expecting to have a baby. She should have the choice to not have that baby. She deserves it. I think if we start outlawing all abortion clinics, that's only going to lead to more dangerous and not as proper personally done abortions, which are not good for the female anatomy and lead to more problems, lead to disease, lead to death. They get the choice they need. If they didn't want a baby, they screwed up once. That doesn't mean that they need to be affected for the rest of life, especially if that child can end up bringing down their whole life level of poverty, whatever it is. They need to choose what they want to do. It's not somebody else's right to choose. They can make the decision for themselves.
What about adoption? Can you speak on that? Like, what if she conceived but just gave it to an adoption center?
I think that's the best option, personally. If they really come to the decision that the woman can't raise the baby to the best of her potential, or if she doesn't have enough time to devote or enough money, then I think that adoption is certainly the best way to go. But I think that we also have to take steps to improve adoption clinics, because there have been a lot of issues with their integrity, basically.
Personally, I don't think that adoption is the best choice, because you really have to think about the emotional factors that come into play. I mean, for a woman to have a child and then give it up to someone else is really, really hard. And a lot of times, adoptive parents, don't like their adopted children to see their birth parents, because, it's kind of a strange situation. So it's all up to the mother. It depends on the situation. It depends on exactly what she wants to do.
I believe that adoption clinics are perfectly acceptable, and that also is up to the mother's choice. If she believes that she cannot handle the responsibility that's taken of raising a child, and these adoption clinics are more able and give a better relief to the kid, then the kid should go there. I have friends that were sent to an adoption clinic, and then they were adopted later, and they do get accepted to their host parents' family. They live their lives. They love their family. They love their parents. They love their brothers and sisters just like they would otherwise. You can fit to the situation. They get the choice, and they can give the child away if they want. I don't see, especially if we start putting in more money to our adoption clinics, why a parent would have to raise their own child in a worse condition rather than letting that child go to a better home and getting a better life.
Very pressing issues here. What about the current event of the war in Iraq?
I can speak on this first. I am completely opposed to what President Bush is trying to do in Iraq. I feel like what he's trying to do is force a democracy in Iraq, but people have to understand that democracy can't be forced. A country and people have to want it enough for themselves to bring it upon their way of life. So I really don't believe that what we're doing is right. And also the fact that the whole conflict is really between the different sects. It's between the Sunnis, the Shiites, and the Kurds. And I don't think that the United States should really, put ourselves in that situation when we really don't need to be there. And it's really sad how many American lives we have lost in the war. I mean, I really don't think that people realize just how many lives we've lost. I think it's over 3,100 soldiers that we've lost there, and I think it's kind of sad that it seems like America has responded more to the death of Anna Nicole Smith than to the death of 3,000 American soldiers. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I really think that we need to eventually start pulling out our troops. I mean, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said at the joint session, we can't just take them all out immediately, but we need to develop a gradual way of taking them out and bringing them home.
We're running out of time here, so just a quick answer would be fine.
Okay, well, I was asked this question of Bob too. I'll basically repeat my answer now. I am also in favor of removing troops. The problem is that given the political climate in Iraq right now, an immediate pullout or even somewhat of a gradual pullout that's restricted to a timetable would be absolutely disastrous because of all the insurgents that are just infiltrated in the population right now. So I think the key is, as unpopular as it may be, to get the job done, make sure that we can secure the area, and then pull out and leave the country to the Iraqis. That's unfortunately the best and the proper way to go about solving this issue.
I believe that it's acceptable for America to go on and try to spread their democratic ideals to other places around the world. But the truth is that it's not working. When 51% of a country does not want democracy, that democracy fails. It's over. That's what's happening. They aren't accepting what we're trying to offer to them. And at this point, we should leave Iraq. We have failed. No more lives should be put in there. You can see how the country does not like it through the people, through the Congress. Everywhere the decision has been made wrong. We need to get out of there.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in choosing who you will vote for, which don't forget to vote. So, thank you for watching.